Hi YouTubers, here I am again. My topic today is how to become a tough guy. And a guy who knows what's going on, how you treat the girls, how to drink, how to box, how to fence, how to show that you're a tough guy and yet a gentleman, even if you're only 17 or 18 years old. That's what's important, I think, when you are that age. Now, I want to tell you how it came to be that I felt at least like a tough guy. It all has to do with Old Man Brown. He was in the same city I was in school, where Uncle Jack was, and my Latin tutor. And somehow my father again had the connection and made the connection with Old Man Brown, telling him that his son, me, needs to get some education on the rougher side of town, so to say. So I went to see him, and he told me, okay, I am a senior member of this fraternity, which is a high school fraternity, and if you want to know what's going on really in terms of manly sports, in terms of dealing with ladies, in terms of organizing things, like in a little company, you join us. So I went there and I joined. It was absolutely great because where else do you learn? I mean, if you learn today for instance, to dance, you have to go to a dance course. If you want to learn how to deal with the ladies, you need some specialist who tells you that. Or if you want to do sports, athletics, you have to go to clubs and learn, for instance, boxing. You have to join a box club. I didn't need to do all this because I could be in this fraternity, and they taught me everything I needed regarding the topics I just told you. The good thing was that we learned under the supervision of Old Man Brown to do all these things. For instance, how does a company work? How does life work in a complex group? This fraternity was organized like a company. There was a top guy, and vertically organized there were the younger guys up to the newbies. And we had to do everything by ourselves. Okay, supervision was there, but for instance, to organize parties and feasts, big feasts, where we had up to 50 people to feed, to be hosting them. Or sports, mainly sports, boxing. I learned to box there against equals, more or less, but who knew about boxing, how you do this without getting badly hurt and not having to join a boxing club. Or fencing. Fencing was the toughest thing to do because we were fencing in the traditional way with naked upper body, just with a helmet and with some padding that we didn't get hurt where it's really hurting. And we learned to fence against each other. There was always a doctor there. We got tough because it hurt a lot when we got hit. And another good thing was that the boxing and fencing was quite honored in town. People knew, oh, you are a member of this fraternity, you're a tough guy, because they knew that 3 times a year we had these bouts where there was something going on. Only we were allowed to be there. Only our coaches and our old man and the doctors was there. And so we fought amongst each other and learned how to fight without getting hit, which is an important thing. Another point, in fact, is that during this time it was not so easy to get to meet girls, but in our fraternity we had parties, and we could invite them, and they would come because they knew it's a good time, and we would behave well, because Old Man Brown again was watching very carefully that we didn't fuck up, so to say. Another thing, we learned to drink. Beer mainly, because that was the fashion at that time, but we learned to drink without getting drunk. It was frowned upon if you drank and got drunk and it was showing. So we learned to even hide, like we drank out of big mugs, and so we learned not to drink everything in one gulp, but to slowly drink, and if we didn't want to, because we always had to say, hey, cheers, 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 that we drank just little tiny gulps, so we didn't get drunk. If we got drunk, we were reprimanded. The most important thing among this fraternity was the brotherhood, the friendship which was there, because we were all in the same club, kind of. We had the same rules. We kind of governed ourselves. We were quite tough, and Old Man Brown did nothing else but watch over us, and if we made some big mistake, he would step in and he would make sure that we would be okay. Also, if we had troubles in school, yeah, that's another thing. We were not allowed to fail in school. They didn't want us to be number one students, but we had to pass our classes, otherwise we would have been expelled. And Old Man Brown, he was the guy I went to if I had troubles in school. He talked to me, he even went to the profs and talked to them. It was not my father or my mother, it was Old Man Brown. And if I had troubles with girls or with friends, because we had some misunderstandings, or we had some quarrels, he stepped in and he was the mediator. So he was kind of not a father, he was not a grandfather, he was not family, but almost in a different way he was, and therefore we learned immense stuff which we could use later. I learned to dance, I learned to behave, I learned to pick up girls in the right way, I learned to keep myself together in trouble, I learned to bite my teeth if there was pain from boxing or fencing. So it was a good time. Did you have that too? Do you have it now? Or what do you do when you are like 16, 17, 18 to become a tough guy and not having to go to the other side of town where there are quite different people than what we had there in the fraternity?